This is a time for reflection. And so I want to throw in the mix for you the reflection on where are your opportunities in 2026 to inspire and lead your team through your communication, through your speaking opportunities. What are the chances that you have to constantly communicate that vision and constantly lead? All with the backdrop of how are people receiving? So I thought it would be useful for you to think about where we are now in terms of how people are consuming content and where we're probably going to be in 2026 and what you're going to need in terms of making sure that you are really connecting and transforming the team that you want to be with you through, whatever 2026 brings. So let's start with the state of play. What content are people consuming? How are they consuming it? So there are lots of things at play here. It's not hard to see that people are consuming content in really quick fire ways. Over the last year, you'll have heard more and more and more about streaming services like Netflix creating streaming programs that are set up in such a way that you can work out what's going on really easily if you've got a second screen. So not only is the expectation of the world that we're all on our phones, they are also now creating content with that expectation that means that people can consume things really easily, really simply. And you'll notice it when you watch your TV programs on Netflix or any other streaming service. The characters seem to reset the story really regularly. And that's because they are expecting people to be on their screens, not really paying attention and needing to keep up. I mean, right there and then is something that we can think about putting into speeches, that constant refresh, recap, and let people know what's going on. The other thing that's happened this year in 2025 that I think will really start playing into 2026 is AI. I mean, never before has anything happened so quickly, right? I think we're all a bit taken by the speed at which the hockey stick curve almost, it's gone woof like this. People are now utilizing AI to transcribe their office notes. So I'm finding in my sessions, people are saying, I need to speak to humans like I speak to the AI, which is things like the action here is, and the reason they say the action here is, which is actually an example of flagging, the flagging term of this is what I'm about to say, encourages the AI to be able to transcribe the actions better afterwards. So the use of AI is prolific now. We're doing things like that. We're also, you've got the opportunity to use ChatGPT or any other, or Copilot to help you create your speeches. If you want a script, if you want bullet points, it can really help. I'm doing things like pulling out sections of scripts and actually asking ChatGPT to find words for me or do it in a certain style or take a character from a film and say, write this in the style of Gandalf the Wizard. And it's finding me words that I didn't have really quickly and helping me through that creative process. So AI is in the mix. And I think a lot of companies, especially in my experience this year, have gone through some sort of restructure or growth phase. And you might be in that, restructure and growth creates a lot of extra work and a lot of confusion and a lot of, and the desire and the need to reset. But what I've really noticed is in that sort of cost saving element, there is a lot more emphasis for global companies to do more remotely. And it really surprised me, actually, that the number of times it's like, no, we're going to do that remotely. No, we're going to do that remotely, including the training that I'm delivering. It's got to be remote. And the more that we utilize these remote and hybrid ways of communicating, never before can you have communication with someone on so many streams. Think about it. Think about those days where if you wanted something from someone, you'd have to send them a letter. And then you'd have to wait for their letter response. And today I could organise a Teams meeting with you online, on camera. I could message you via WhatsApp or Messenger of some sort. I could text you. I can email you. I could go on Slack. I can go onto Teams messaging. There are about 10 ways in which I can communicate with you. There's not one stream anymore. There's like a crowd of communication coming at you as you're receiving it. And so with that in mind, what is it that we can do better this year? What is it that you can do better this year to make sure that messages are landing when we know that messages are bombarding? And, it never goes away in terms of how you're consuming content. Your audience, doesn't matter how old they are consuming content this fast. Click, 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 or depending on which way you're going, it's click, click, click. Seconds. So I think, from all of that, there is a chaos in communication that requires simplicity, that requires repetition, that requires connection. And those are things that aren't new, but as the world seems to get more fragmented in terms of how we communicate, fragmented and quicker, those three things are going to be even more vital in your leadership. So how do you apply that to the communications that you've got over the next year? Well, we know that when people see you in lots of different places, I think it's Google did this years ago, the 0 moment of truth. Basically, you've got to bank up the number of hours that people see you, spend time with you. Bank the number of times that they see you and the number of different platforms that they see you on for a message to get through. And so if you use that kind of methodology in the background, there are a few things I think that you can use into 2026 that I'd love for you to think about in your reflection time now. How are you going to hit these markers so that you can have the most effective ways of communicating what it is that you need from your team to your team, so that not only is your message going to your senior leadership team, but they are getting it so that it goes down into the teams as well and cascades downwards. I mean, something that I haven't even talked about is, the fact that this year you're going to start seeing Disney characters through ChatGPT. I mean, like the ability for people to create things quickly, swiftly, and vibrantly is getting greater and greater. So, let's just let that sit. And let's get into ways that you can really help yourself this year. The first way that you can really help yourself is get explicit. You cannot be clear enough. And clarity comes from simplicity. Make it clear what it is you want from people. Make it clear about your vision. Make it clear about your message. What is it you want? Why is it important? And just repeat it over and over again. Find ways to reset it. Find stories to tell. In the noise, this is the only way that you will cut through. And when it comes to it, the second thing that you can do is get on as many platforms as you can. So actually, rather than thinking this is the only place I'm going to be, the impact it has on your team to be on a stage externally maximizes your credibility with them. And then you take the clips from that and you put them into your internal social media or external social media. Every opportunity that you speak to a group, when are you saying your vision? It might be a Teams meeting where you're delivering some difficult news, spread your vision then. If it's good news, spread your vision then. If it's a tiny meeting, spread your vision then. It's actually getting into those spaces. And to do that, if you are not comfortable on camera, get comfortable on camera. It's the speediest and quickest way that you can get through to your teams. And it gives them the opportunity to get to know you in a way that they are used to, right? So they are used to consuming content via video. All of the people that are teaching them things right now come under this action. And you could be teaching them about the ways that you want the business to run, your thoughts and how you've got there. You could be telling them your stories, all on camera and in short, quick, bite-sized ways that they go, oh, there's the boss. Oh. And it builds trust. Okay, we've got these things happening. So you need the explicit clarity because we've got all of these different types of ways of communicating, and you've got to get it clear. You've got to get it simple. You've got to do it lots and lots of times. You've got to get good on camera because this remote is not going away. We are still communicating and able to communicate with each other via different platforms. But that means that when you do get in person, it matters even more. You'll know it. You'll see it. You know that feeling. When someone says to you, could you just say a few words? And you go up on stage and you don't know that person's name or you don't know anything about them. They feel that drop in connection. When you can't talk to the audience and pull people out and make them all think about each other and talk to each other and have some camaraderie, they're going to notice. And when you're not using your body and you're just standing there like this, it's going to be seen. So your in-person speaking is going to be even more important as the rise of, ChatGPT words comes through, and the rise of this remote world is really here to stay, and that proliferation of platform. And I think that those three things really make you a good communicator, really make you someone who is going to have more impact. But there's one more thing that I think for 2026, I'm really fascinated by. When you think about the number of ways that you can receive a message and the number of ways that people are getting hold of you, there's an adage, there's something in communication that we always teach people, which is the sender is responsible for the message being received. And I hold true to that. It is not enough to, well, I just sent an email. That is not going to land you the impact that's not going to get someone going, right, I've actually, get you to a place where you've got engagement. What you really want is for people to meet you, right? And to do that, you need to meet them. So I think in 2026, everybody, including you and I, can work on being better receivers. It's working with some of my clients now where, some people say to me, how do I interrupt? How do I interrupt the flow? And one of the best things I give them is, well, if someone's going off track and it's derailing the conversation, and you learn this when you're doing radio interviews, right? Acknowledge what they've said. Make sure that you're saying, oh, that's a really interesting point. I really get what you're saying there. Had you thought about? And that in that acknowledgement, it means you can be a kind interrupter, right? You can pull something back online. And it means that you aren't offending people. And it works in difficult conversations as well. Oh, that's really interesting. I hadn't thought of it like that. How can I help you with that? Acknowledge. It helps with everything, like trying to get the builder to finish off the snag list. I've done it before. That acknowledgement of, listen, I know I've called you 4,000 times. I really want to get out of your hair. How can we move forward together? Listening, receiving, acknowledging is going to be a real superpower, I think, in 2026, especially when people will be trying to get hold of you. And if they can't get hold of you one way, trust me, they are coming at you through all of the mediums. It's not waiting for the letter anymore and crafting a lovely response. It's knowing that someone has 5 ways to contact you and you need to let them know that you have heard it, because that is the way that they're going to stop. So I think that when you can do those things, if we can get to some explicit clarity, what is it you want? What are we doing here? Why are we doing it? If you can repeat that over and over again and keep it simple, if you can get good on camera, if you want to get good on camera, I just think it's one of the most powerful tools that you can possibly have. When you know that being in person matters more, so working on those physical attributes that you have that mean that you can really connect with an audience when you're in person, telling your stories, meeting people, all of that. And then just being a better receiver. Acknowledgement, listening, showing you've heard, showing you've received. That will superpower your team into inspiration this year. They will feel motivated and they will feel inspired. I see it all of the time with my clients. And the minute that you can apply some of those things, not only will they feel involved more, you'll feel a little bit more in control. So 2025 has been a fab year. I've really enjoyed being with you, working with you, and, creating these speaker workouts for you. 2026, well, if this was a speaker workout right now, I would be telling you, make sure you are using your time to reflect on the things that you can do better as a communicator in 2026. And you've got 4 things there that you can be thinking about. If you want to receive any training or coaching or want to improve your communication skills with your teams, then we're here at The Presenter Coach. Make sure you drop us an email, kate@thepresentercoach.co.uk, or sign up to the waitlist, because we're going to be running more webinars and roadshows in the new year, and you can absolutely be there. So get on the waitlist on the link that is in the comments below or in the email if you've received the email. I'll see you next week, where we're going to be starting the new year with a bang. What's the first talk going to be? I'll see you then. Have a great week.